What's up, everybody? It's David here at Smitty's Garage, coming at you with another banger, another problem child. Wonder what it could be. Probably this damn thing right there. Let's jump into it. Well, about right now, we're probably asking, thought you revived it. Why is it back on here? Let me give y'all a quick demonstration of what's going on. So as y'all can see, we've developed quite a surging situation on this motor here. And I've took this carburetor off. I've cleaned it several times. And there's a little adjustment screw back here that you gotta twist it this way and it'll start acting right. But the problem is it just keeps vibrating back. So yes, I could take that screw out, put a drop of blue Loctite on it, put it back in and set it and just leave it alone. But I think we're going to do something different with this. I want to get this motor storm ready. Another issue is, and another reason why I'm going to do what I'm going to do, is this right here. As y'all can see, it's kind of got some sludge in it, got a little bit of gas in it. So I think we're going to do this right here. I think we're going to put a housing cover on it. I think we're going to put a tune-up kit on it. Let's open it up and see what all comes in it. So I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to tune it up real good. We're going to put a new carburetor on there. No history. New filter housing, new plug, and change the oil. Looks like we got new gasket, a little piece of new fuel line. Hey, that's going to work great for me because this line here needs to be replaced. So without further ado, you know what? Let's test fit this real quick. See how this is going to work. Oh yeah, man. It's going to be out great once I get that filter in there. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this bad boy season ready. I started with, I'm going to drain this tank. And the reason I'm going to drain this tank is you know, I just kind of gathered this tank together, you know, whenever we revived it. But y'all see that trash down in there? Let me turn this light out and maybe y'all can a little better, huh? Well, I don't see how to do it, so forget it. Anyway, there you go. Y'all see that trash floating in there? So what I want to do is I want to better clean this tank out. And that will help prevent some surging issues too. Then when we go back together, we're going to come here, right out that first valve. We're going to go through the heat shield and drop it down right there to the carburetor instead of having all that weight on there. I will probably move this shut-off valve to a little bit closer to the carburetor just so it's easier. To remove the carburetor, we'll take these two Phillips screws out. That'll remove your filter base plate. You remove this throttle rod, remove the crankcase ventilation hose, remove the fuel line, which you already have, and then there's two bolts. Take them loose, then we'll pull the carburetor out. Now that you got it off, you don't want to go crazy just yet and start reinstalling. You're going to want to compare your units. Make sure you're close. Crankcase vent, fuel line. Well, we see this fuel line's on a 90 and this one's straight, so that's really not going to be an issue. Choke and choke. Throttle and throttle. Then we look good there. Good there. So everything's looking good. So we'll be ready to go back together with it, with the carburetor, but we're going to wait on that. I want to clean this gas tank first. Change the oil and the spark plug before I go back with the carburetor. So real quick, you know, a noted difference, really the only difference is the old carburetor links up, you know, the throttle linkage goes into that, which goes into this hole that's right there. And of course, the throttle linkage on the generator is going to pull. And that's what governs your throttle. So we have a big hole on this one. However, it's not going to pull. That one is designed to push. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this tip hole right here and we're going to step it up just big enough to hold that plastic bushing in, and that's where we're going to connect our throttle linkage to allow it to pull. So here I got the hole drilled out. Let's put the plastic piece in it. So here we have it. Your throttle linkage is going to go here, which is on this side and that side, identical to that. So that throttle linkage is going to come in and it is going to pull. Just wanted to demonstrate that. You know, guys, everything isn't cookie cutter. You can't be scared to fabricate or modify things. Sometimes you just gotta make things happen, and this was a case. So after I change the oil and spark plug, we'll be going back with that. So we're gonna go on and drain this oil now. Here's your drain plug right there. You open that up, and to create an open vent, remove that fill cap right there, and that'll let your oil go. Otherwise it'll kind of have a little, you know, just helpful tip. It just greatly helps when your motor oil is a little warm. It'll flow out a lot better. So yeah, y'all can see that old stuff's kind of nasty. So let's go on, and this is part of the sludge that was in there when we revived it and stuff. So let's drain it all out. Y'all can see it starting to form. See where the gas was mixing in with the oil? That is another reason why I was like, we're changing this carburetor. Also, guys, when you're servicing a motor, yeah, you can turn it off, but go the extra mile. Disconnect the spark plug. So what we're going to do in this situation is, even though it's done, we're going to sacrifice a little bit of oil, fresh oil, pour in there and just let it flow on out to try to, you know, to help wash out the bottom. That ought to be plenty to kind of flush it through. See how it's flowing over here. Yeah. So what that's going to do is that's going to get on the bottom of your crankcase of your block there, and it's just going to rinse out some remnants that's in there. Now once this is done here, we need to make sure that you tighten up your drain plug before you go enter your new oil. Now it's important you don't overfill your motor. Most small engines hold between 3/4, a half and 3/4. So let's see where we are. Of a quart, I mean. Between half and 3/4 of a quart. Well, I do this right-handed, I can tell. Okay. So we need to add some more. So let's check and see where we are now. That's right on the money, guys. Right on the money. Good deal. Next, we're going to remove the old spark plug. Find you a socket that fits it. Slip it in here. As with like the carburetor, again, you want to compare. You want to make sure that you got same thread pitch and everything. So we're going to gap this here to 30 thousandths. I don't know if y'all can see that, but we got the new plug gap to 30 thousandths. And now we're going to go in just like we came out. We're going to thread it in. Take your spark plug socket, put it on, tighten it up. So I got on out here. I've cleaned out the gas tank. Kind of ran the line down, running into a problem. That's why y'all see that old hose on there. This is kind of all I had left. Really ain't enough to do anything. So this hose is ugly, but it is solid all the way through, so it's a good hose. Let's take a peep here on the inside. I'm going to drop this down so that we can look in there, and then from there I'm going to button it up to the carburetor, and we're going to see how she runs. Well, let's take a peep on down in there. I'm going to use my light here. Let's just kind of see what we got. Whole lot cleaner. Whole lot cleaner. I had where is it at? Oh yeah. Probably frowned upon to do because it had gasoline involved, but hey, I got it out of there. So I think from here we're going to get the filter on here, get the filter housing, and we're going to connect the gas line. I'm kind of thinking on the gas line that I want it to do kind of like that right there. Keep this flat down. Then I'm just going to loosely zip tie it here to this manifold, kind of keep it off the block. So let me get all that done and I will get back with you. Well, I don't need this light on anymore. Well, I've got some gas in it. Kind of routed my hose here. I don't have it tied up on there. It kind of put it at a little angle and I didn't like it. Got the breather assembly on there. Oh yeah, we need to do this, don't we? We'd be pulling, wouldn't we? So really, I guess it's time to see if this doesn't solve our problems. So let's start it up and see. I think that'll do it pretty good. Got y'all up on this tripod. We're going to start it up and see if the surging continues or if that took care of the surging. I've kind of got an idea if it continues on what to do, but I'd like to try it with just this for now. Choke it. I do got this clamped on here so it'll kind of stay on, but it is going to rock and roll. We might as well let that go on down. That way I don't hit myself. So there's a couple of things we can do. We can first try to adjust the idle so that it doesn't come down so much. And we may have to put a spring on this governor. So let me work with this for a minute and I'll get back with you. I mean, look how slow this is draining. And then when we get up in here, it's looks like it's got some more junk up in there. So yeah, I think we're on the path maybe to the surging. I guess we'll see. You know, we get this tank cleaned out completely. I'm not going to vacuum it out kind of like I did. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to rinse this damn thing out. You see those stops? I mean, what if the surging is lack of fuel, and then all of a sudden it gets a pulse of fuel again? You see it? Maybe. We shall see. Well, I've got my tank here all cleaned out. Kind of hard to see up in there, but I cleaned it all out with water, stood it up, cleaned it all out with water, rinsed it real good, sloshed it around. I got it sitting out here on my little yard tractor, just letting that sun bake it, dry up any residual water that's up in there before it goes back down toward the shop. Like I said, we got that tank up there cleaning. Got the hose off of it. I know I wanted to replace this hose, but it was pretty clear, so I left it on there. But check this out. Y'all see it? Let's get over here toward the light. Y'all see it? That's a restriction right there. And look at this damn thing. It's clogged up too. So, needless to say, got a brand new one of these coming. So we'll be replacing that with a brand new one. And we will be going with a new section of hose in there. So, pretty much the fuel delivery will be brand new from there. So, we shall see. Because I'm going to be replacing this section of hose with a new section, and of course that a new section. This goes right there and then to the carburetor, and well, y'all see that. So anyway, when everything comes in, that's when we're going to get back on it. For right now, I'm going to let her sit right there. She ain't hurt nothing. Look what just came in today. Oh, that right there is what I'm talking about. Dadgum, we got a screen on it and a working valve. We might be able to just eliminate all this crap. Hell yeah. So I ain't too sure that the guy at the counter can read his sizes, but we're gonna make it work, guys. Let's get it installed in this bad boy. See if our fuel surging stops. I'll get back with you as soon as I get it done. Alright, we got the new fuel valve, new grommet, new hose going to the carburetor. I eliminated all that other stuff. I've also came in here and let's put some old hose around that heat shield. Try to keep it from wanting to cut the line. So yeah, let's see if she'll run. Okay, I honestly don't know what to expect. Well, I expect it to act right because the entire fuel system has been completely done, from grommet to valve, gas line, carburetor. Okay, so we spoke too soon, didn't we, guys? And it just died on its own. Alright, well, until I get a little more investigation, this will be it. Alright guys, so I just turned the idle speed down, and this is what I got. I'm gonna let it run a few minutes and then I'll check back with y'all. Well, I think I'm going to call that a win. I think there's one more thing I'm going to do to here, but as far as the surging goes, I think we got it. I think the other thing I'm going to do, just because I want this thing season ready, is I'm going to locate a coil, and I'm going to change the coil out on here too, to go with the new plug. Then everything will be done. But I believe we got the surging under control. I just got to dial in the RPMs, you know, to make sure I get 61, 62 hertz, and from there, I think that's going to wrap this girl up. Pretty sure I'm just going to do everything else just off camera. Call it a done deal. So, with that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for hanging out here, David, at Smitty's Garage, everybody. Thank y'all for bearing with me as we troubleshoot through this dad-blasted generator. You know, in hindsight, it probably wasn't the carburetor to begin with. But guess what, guys? My goal was not only to, and is, not only to correct the surging that we had, but to make this thing season ready, because here in Texas, it's October. You know, come November, December, January, man, we get these old funky thunderstorms and spur of the moment ice storms that just knock your power out. Now, I got a generator, you know, up at the house, but I kind of want a second one, so that's why I want to make this season ready. I don't want to have to go and tinker with this, tinker with that. When I'm ready to pull that rope, I want it to do what it was designed to do. And then plus, you just got to love that this is one of the last made in the USA kind of generators there is, you know. When they stopped doing these flatheads and overhead valves and went to the overhead valves, you're kind of not truly made in the USA anymore. So I just wanted to really take care of this here. So like I say, I'll do the coil and stuff off camera. That's no big deal. If it's a problem or something like that, I'm going to bring y'all in and tape it and do all that stuff. But other than that, I think we set out to do what we set out to do. Guys, this is David here at Smitty's Garage. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. Give me a thumbs up, comment, share. Give me a thumbs down, guys. It's all good. It's all love, guys. You know, the grind never ends. On top of that, I hope that y'all learned something. Better believe I learned something. Thank you for hanging out with me. Y'all have a blessed day. From Smitty's Garage to you, peace. I'm out. Well, guys, I promised I'd bring y'all back if I found something that was relatively concerning. Look at that. You can't tell me that thing hadn't got wet. I don't even know how it made spark. Got the new one in. I'm going to change it out real quick. See how it runs. Air gap should be at 10 thousandths. Let's change it out real quick. Man, how did that thing even get signal? Look how cracked the wires are. Whew. Well, let's just fire it up real quick. Make sure it's going to run. Eventually I'm going to order me a RPM gauge, a little digital RPM gauge, so that I can dial them RPMs to about 3650. But let's make sure it's going to run, and then let's close this thing out. That's on. Fuel's on. Choke. Alright guys, y'all heard it. Steady, no surging. We did what we set out to. Thank you.